this is the Chinese New Year, and actually this is the first day of the Chinese New Year, Year of Bull. And the bull is a symbol of really hardworking, good luck, and lots of progress in the new year. So that's the year that we really hope. Last year was the year of mouse. Or mice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very, kind of like really this is like, with all the pandemic happening, that's exactly what you expect in the year of mouse, right? So now we want to put everything behind us and into a new year of bull. So everybody is looking forward to this new year. Yeah, so for today, I'm making a very traditional Chinese New Year dinner. It's the dumpling, and actually it's more from the North China. Charlene is going to make the Wonton is kind of like from the Southern China. So this is, in this way, we have the good representing of both the North and Southern China. All right, so this one, I put the ingredient in the chat, so everybody should be able to see it. To make a dumpling, you need the two major components. One component is the dough. The dough that you use the dough to make the wrapper. All right, so this is dough. Let me show you. This is dough. All right, it's made of, basically you can use the all-purpose flour, or you can find some pasta flour, that one with more gluten inside. So unfortunately if you're sensitive to gluten, this is probably not for you. The trick is that make it very sticky and with good elastic. You can stretch it really well. So that's the goal. Okay. So to make it, you need about 400 grams of flour and with about 192 grams of water. That's the mixture that you are looking for, and put a little bit of salt in that, and then you'll get a very, very good dough that you can use to stretch. And I'll show you how to make the dumpling wrapper later on. And then the other components that we need is the content, which is not the dumpling sauce. We're going to need is the fillings. The fillings I'm using is this is made of grounded beef. It's a pretty expensive beef I got. It's what they call Wagyu ground beef.
Wagyu, yeah.
Wagyu ground beef. Yeah.
That's like the American Kobe beef.
Yeah, Kobe beef. I got that from Costco. You need 1 pound of this one, and then you'll put all the ingredients that I talk about. This is ingredients like shrimp pepper, and spice powder, salt. The trick here is that you need to put some chicken broth, right? So that's the chicken broth. You need about 150 grams or half cup of chicken broth, and with some pepper and soy sauce. So you will give you a good moisture, really good moisture inside this filling. And later on, we're going to add the vegetable inside. Okay, the vegetable I'm adding is a tricky one. This is what they call that. It's actually leek. Have you heard about leek? So
yes.
Leek, we did two things with the leek. So we have the stern, which is the white and the green part. We cut it into really small puzzles, right? And this is the ones that we're going to put onto the grounded meat. And then the leaf of the leek are the ones that we're going to do something with it. We have to, this is very tricky as well, take a little bit of work, is that we have to fry it first. Almost put it into a deep fryer. See this? And fry it up and make it turn a little bit brown, very crispy, and then we cut it into small pieces. This is very, very tasty when you cut it into these small, tiny pieces. All right, so what we're going to do is that we'll add this into the mix later on. But before I add everything into the mix, I have to do something, which is to heat up some oil. Basically, 3 tablespoons of oil, and I need to put in some shrimp pepper. I don't know, have you heard about the shrimp pepper? 中文叫花椒. All right.
Oh, the red chili peppers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very tasty. It gives you a very interesting taste.
A little kick.
Yeah, kick. That's a kick. Make your tongue basically numb your tongue. I don't know why people like that.
Jeremy, did you pan fry your leeks or did you deep fry your leeks? You stir
fry, deep fry, doesn't matter. It's basically you need to use a lot of oil until it's turned brown and crispy. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, so give me a little bit of time. We'll cook on the outside. This is no magic. It's not like kind of you're cooking on TV. You can like magically, I have done this. You pull something out.
It's okay.
It's real time. Then we have Bo Chao. Is Emma with you?
Hi, Emma I think is working on something.
Oh wow.
We'll just make hot pot and like learn some techniques from you to make.
The cooking. Yes, you got the flavor. All right, so next the fun part. This is the dangerous part. I will need to pour some the oil, dump that into this. You see that the oil is smoking. I need to put that into the filling. Okay, hear it? This one basically will bring the flavor out from the stern of the leek. Okay. Then what we do is that all the fried leaf of the leek in here. Give it a good mix. Just mix it up. Yeah, it smells great, by the way.
No, smell-o-vision would be wonderful. Yeah, it's just a go.
Very unique. So this one will be almost ready. Okay, I think it's ready to go. So next step, what we do is that we make the wrapper. Okay, take half of the dough and I'm kind of like make it like a ring like this. This is like what you are making like a prism, right? It's like a prism, you know, like, but we trying to do is that make it the long, cut open the ring, make it a long kind of this the thin roll of dough, and then next what do is that cut into the smaller ones, and we're going to use the flour inside. This is the part. We're going to cut it into the smaller ones, separate into the individual ones. How do you call this one? Individual dough?
Little dough balls.
Yeah. So basically we'll cut it into small.
I actually can't see what you're cutting. If you move, yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Oh yes, that's better.
Yeah, that's better. Cutting.
About that size, like about an 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah, each one I would say it's hard for me to tell how heavy is each one. I'd say each one is about 20 maybe. No. All right, so we have them here.
I'm wondering if that was my jack and he had seen that I was on here.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
Yeah. It could have.
He needs to come back on.
I know, Kat, did he have a gray suit on?
Oh, no. If that jack had a gray suit, no, not him.
Okay. It didn't look like your jack, but I didn't really see him. He had a gray suit on and, you know, just the profile picture that's on there when your camera's not on.
Oh, no.
Okay. So you're smashing?
Yeah, smashing it into flattening it. In that way that I can using a tool that we're going to use. I don't know how to call it in English. It's a roller. It's a roller stick.
A rolling pin.
Yeah, a roller pin, or you'll see how that looks like. It's like this.
Yes, it's a rolling pin stick.
A rolling pin or rolling stick, whatever you call it. Okay. And then we're going to make the wrapper. This is the tricky hard ones. Many people don't know how to do it. You just keep rolling the dough, and you're going to get have a wrapper.
Yeah, you're turning it. You're turning it at the same time you're rolling it.
Exactly.
So you're not, okay.
So this is the tricky part. You need a little bit of practice to do it. There's many ways to do it, but this is one of the actual most, I would say, most of the hard work in making dumplings, in making this wrapper. Okay, so now we have, let's say we have 2 wrappers, okay? I'm going to show you how to make the dumpling.
Jeremy, you got me beat. I just got the store-bought wrappers that are already made.
Yeah.
So I'm so impressed by this.
Yeah.
Yes, this is fun.
This is hardcore dumpling making. All right. So, all right. So the next one we do that we're trying to make is making dumplings. This is the one that probably Bochao. I don't know which province are you from. As probably you already know that. So we take the filling, right? A little bit of filling, not a lot. All right. So put it in the middle. Right. So this should be good. Basically covers the center 1/3 of the dumpling, and then you wrap it over this shape. All right, you fold it over one end, and then you fold in the other end a little bit. Fold in there. This is the tricky part.
Yeah, should we fold in? Usually when I did the wrap, I usually didn't fold in. Is it work better? Like with a better seal?
This will be better seal. This is the tricky part. You have to use your finger.
Yeah.
Your finger, your index finger, thumb of your one hand, and then the other thumb. Now that you use this, your hand to make a kind of mold, and then push it hard, okay? And just squeeze inside, and you will see what's happening. Here's a dumpling.
Oh, cute.
Yep, that's how
Jeremy,
you make.
I'm impressed. That's, yeah.
You have to do that again.
Okay, let's try again. Let's try again. All right. Okay. So this is the wrapper, and with the filling inside. I feel like I'm like a magician. Put the one end, give it a little bit, squeeze, and then fold one side in, tuck it in, and then the other side, tuck it in. Okay. You don't need to, but when you tuck it in, the dumpling looks better. All right. And then one index finger of one hand, and with one thumb and the other thumb, you form a mold. And then you squeeze, and then you have a dumpling. All right.
Yay!
Okay, so I think that's basically the process. I need to make the rest of the dumpling. Probably, Charlene, this is time for me to hand it over to you to make the wonton.
Okay, alrighty, sounds good. Mine are probably not gonna look as pretty, and I cheated, I didn't make the dough. I just went to the store and I bought the dough. So usually this dough is in the frozen food section, or it could be in an Asian grocery store. They also sell this in the refrigerated section at Publix or Kroger. So you look kind of in the refrigerated section, and if you can't find it, just ask someone. Just say wonton wrappers, and you want the square ones that are about the size of your hand. You don't want the big egg roll wrapper, okay? And it is a wheat product too, as Jeremy had said. So gluten-free may not be. This may not be the dish for you, but what I do is I just get a 10-ounce bag of spinach. And if you have a food processor, I put the blade in that minces it. So what I do is I just pour the spinach in and I pack it down. And I end up using this entire bag with 1 pound of beef. And so it just gets put in there. So, and I actually, it only holds about 1/3 of the 10-ounce bag. So I've had to do this 3 times. So I pack it in there and I put the lid on it and I turn it on. And I don't know if you can see it, but you see how it's kind of just mincing it? Because you want it about the size of the actual particles of the ground beef. And sometimes if there's too much spinach, you just get your spatula and you just push it down. And And that's the hardest part of this. And of course, if you don't have a food processor, you know, you got a sharp knife, you can just mince your vegetables. And of course, spinach, you can eat it raw. So if you don't want it this fine, you can have it coarser, but I like it this fine. It's more delicate of a dumpling, so to speak. So, and then I just take all that, one more leaf. Alrighty, and in this food processor, I already minced up about an inch worth of garlic. Not garlic, ginger. So it's a root of ginger, about an inch or so, and you can peel it, and then I just slice it and you throw it in there, and it just gives it a little bit of fresh garlic flavor. If you don't have the fresh garlic flavor, you can always use just dried garlic that's in your pantry. Not garlic, but ginger in your pantry. Why do I keep saying garlic? You can put garlic in here, but I like just the flavor of the soy sauce and the spinach and the beef. And then the broth is a chicken broth, which is really nice. So I think what my trick is with Chinese cooking, the trick is getting the spices and also getting the right sauces. So the soy sauce that you use can make or break your recipe. And a lot of people think, oh, it's just a soy sauce. Well, in China, there's different types of soy sauce. I'm using a mushroom soy, which is my favorite. And I grew up with it, and Dad had to drive to Atlanta to get it because we grew up in Griffin. So, but I'll show you, I took a picture of the ingredients, and we'll post it on the Facebook and LinkedIn group. But this is Pearl River Bridge, and it's a mushroom soy. So the Chinese are great about brewing the soy sauce, but they're not good on manufacturing a cap that won't leak. So what you have to do is put your hand on the cap and then turn it upside down and shake it. There's going to be sediments in the bottom of the bottle, but you want to shake it until you can see the clear in your bottle. So, and then of course you get soy sauce all over your fingers, but it's okay because you just get a napkin, you wipe it off. So it will drip, but it tastes so good, it's worth putting up with a bad stopper. So let me get a paper towel real quick. So you're just putting all that in there and you're mixing it up. And I'm not as Chinese as Jeremy. I'm just gonna use a spoon because I get more leverage with a spoon than chopsticks. So this recipe can make wonton soup for 5, because when the kids were little, I would incorporate their help in actually making the wontons. So we kind of line up around the kitchen table, and we would, we have a ramekin of water. It's just plain water to dampen the sides of the wontons. And then the kids would just get a spoon, and I would have a spoon small enough that they would just scoop in whatever they needed and just what was needed to be in each wonton. And when you go to Chinese restaurants, you'll find the wontons, the meat is like a centimeter worth of meat, but I pack my wonton so full that nothing else will go in there. And so it literally is a mouthful. Like when you put it in your mouth, you're actually chewing and you're loving it. The trick too, when you buy your ground beef, look for the leanest ground beef that you can get, because you're not browning the ground beef, you're not dredging the fat out. So any fat that's in the ground beef will probably get absorbed into your dumplings. So this is the store-bought dumpling, and I just dab my finger on the side. So I'm making a triangle L, all right? And then I take my meat, I just put it in the center like that. And that's a boatload of meat, but it literally will seal up like this. Oh, I did put too much, but if you put too much, you can just get some out. And then you seal it up like that, so it's a triangle. And the water is very important. I think if you don't do this without water with store-bought dough, you're not gonna get a good seal. So, ta-da, that's what it looks like. So Jeremy's they're round and kind of cute, and this is more of a triangular wrap. Sometimes the kids would get really creative, but I find that this one looks best with the triangular square dumpling. So Bo Child, do you have a way that you wrap yours with a square dumpling wrapper?
No, actually, It's for dumplings. I use like hand similar technique as Jeremy, but for Wonton, I never make Wonton before.
Oh, okay, all
So
right.
there's one way to make it slightly differently. Okay.
Yeah.
There's one way. Let me show you how you can make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me get the square kind of shape of wrapper. Okay. Let's say, assume this is a square one. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So there's a trick right here. So I'm not putting as much filling as you are doing. All right. The trick here is that to fold it not in a diagonal way, fold it in a half, just a half.
Okay, like a rectangle. All righty.
Yeah, rectangle. Okay, here's the tricky one. You need to fold one side up a bit, fold up. Okay. Once it's fold up, and you found the corner, the other two corner, and then fold in.
Oh yes, that's how they do it at the restaurants. That's what it looks like.
Pinch it, and then you turn around like this.
It's so cute. Yes. Yeah. That one will not hold as much filling.
Yeah,
I like the look too. And so if everybody shapes their dumpling a different way, it's a way of identifying it in the pot when it's boiling too, so that everybody can eat their own dumplings, so to speak. So Jeremy was saying that he just folds it. So I'm using less meat or less stuffing.
Yep.
And he's folding it like a rectangle. So a square turns into a rectangle.
Yes.
Okay. And then you just fold that there, and then you bring the edges around.
Yes.
Ta-da!
Exactly.
That's cute. I like it. So as you can see, I have 4 made already. And then when you have enough, let's see how many wrappers. There's about 50 wrappers in here. So 1 pack of wrappers would feed a family of 5. And so by the time you have 10 dumplings made for each person, you also have, I'm turning the camera. What? I'm turning the camera to the stove top, right? And so here I have boiling a big pot of boiling water. The more water, the better, because then you don't have your dumplings cooling off. So you want to pretty much maintain a boil as much as you can. And then in this stock pot, I have 2 cups of broth. I find when you're doing wontons, you have about 1 cup of broth per person. So the 2 cups of broth, I just use, you can use any kind of bouillon that you would want to use that is your favorite. But the ones that I like, and I switch out between the 2, are the Knorr, the chicken bouillon, or Better Than bouillon. And both of these can be found in the soup section at your grocery store. You can also get, just regular chicken stock, any kind of chicken stock flavor. And you would think, why are you making beef wontons, but you're cooking it in chicken broth? It's just the flavors mesh together. If you use beef broth, it's just too heavy, I think. So what you do is once you get a bunch of the dumplings made, you just drop them in the boiling water. And then when they float, they're done. So you just drop them in like that. And you want to make sure you have a good seal on them. And then you just stir them around. So can you see? Let me see if I can move the camera closer. Can you see they're boiling away there?
Yes.
Yes.
So if my cell phone falls in the pot, we're in big trouble. So when they start to float, they're pretty much done. So it's about 4 to 5 minutes. So yes, I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. And I'll show you how we plate it. So I already dissolved, just read the instructions on the chicken bouillon for how much of the bouillon that you need for the soup. So you just have a bowl, and they're kind of still sitting on the bottom. So they're not quite done yet, but they're coming to a boil. And you can salt the water too. When you salt the water, it actually brings the boiling point up, because salt water boils at a higher boiling temperature than just regular water. So I think it kind of cooks the food faster too.
Really?
See, they're kind of moving around. And so the key is, do your dumplings float, Jeremy?
Have not put in the water yet. I'm still making them. Yeah, my process is a little bit longer.
Your barometer of when you take your dumplings out is when they float?
Yep, you put a little bit more. No, we need to put a little bit more water in there. So what we do is that when it's boiled, you put a little bit cold water inside, let it cool down a bit, and then wait for it boil again. And then you need to repeat that 3 times in order to get a good cook. Because we put lots of raw meat inside of the dumpling, and the pretty big dumpling, so it takes a little bit of time to cook. So
wow.
Yeah, so it's different. Wonton probably can go a little bit faster, and if you don't have lots of raw meat inside.
Mine usually, I set the timer for about 5 minutes. I've never had raw meat. And I think the trick is you have to have a big stock pot, because if you do it with a small stock pot, the temperature just goes down so quickly that it probably does need to boil more. So when you're first starting this, if you don't know your pot and you don't know the size of meat, you can always just take one out and cut it, and that will be yours. And just see if it's still red inside. And if it's, gray, cooked ground beef, it's probably okay. I've never gotten sick from eating wontons.
Yep.
So that's good. And I'm excited that the wontons aren't breaking up. So that means, you have to get a good seal. I think when the kids were little, one time, one of the kids didn't really seal theirs very well with the water.
Yep.
And in the boiling process, their wonton got separated and their meat floated out into the water. It was such a sad situation, but all the other kids like, oh, I'll share, you can have some of my wontons. So it was good. But I find that if you make your own dumplings, you don't have to use the water to seal it. It's still sticky enough, right?
Yes, the dough is very sticky.
Yeah, but if you buy the store-bought ones, you kind of have to have the water. You just dip your finger in there and you seal it. So, yay.
Nice.
Kat, any questions?
I have any questions?
Kat, do you think you're going to want to try your own tomorrow night?
No, I love this. I want us to put this up on y'all's Facebook page, and I definitely want to do this when we can promote it properly. And sorry, just not a lot of time to do it.
Yeah.
But I have really loved this. Jeremy, great job. Charlene, I love it. This is exactly the kind of thing. It's a lot of fun to watch this.
Oh, good.
And Jeremy, you're when you molded those other ones, it was almost like an Italian tortellini.
Yeah.
Is that okay.
It's a similar shape, right? So
right.
In China, it's kind of, we call it GTCAN. It's like a gold kind of. In the old days, we have the gold. How do you call it? The block. They're shaping in that way, and we believe that the shaping, making your wonton that way, will give you good fortune.
Well, that's the other thing. We celebrated. We haven't celebrated it in the last couple of years, but we've celebrated New Year's many years with the red envelopes and the oranges, and I can't remember why, but there was a difference between like long noodles versus short noodles.
The longer ones means that longevity. That means that you live longer.
Okay.
Yes, you don't want to cut the noodles because it's bad luck, especially on New Year's.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You want to keep them as long as possible, and you want to, chew them and cut them, but you do not want to cut them when you're boiling them. So the longer, the better. And it's funny too, if you want bigger noodles, certain noodles you just cook them longer, and they absorb more water, and then they're bigger. So I think my wontons are done. My timer went off. So wrong spoon. So, and we'll cook this again because we have this maybe like once a month or so. So it's not a big deal just to do another show or another presentation. And so you have your wontons in here, and then you just have some broth. And you pour it on there like that. And then if you want to get fancy, you can get some green onions. and you just sprinkle some green onions on there. So
delicious.
yeah, what is it? Gunhoi Pak Choi?
Oh yes, 恭喜发财.
Yes.
恭喜发财. Yep.
Yes, and so
wish you good fortune.
Definitely.
Yep. Thank you very much. And my dumpling is ready to go to our.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Check
You
the
go
dumpling.
ahead and cook your dumplings, and then we'll get all the dumplings going. Oh,
This
wow.
is the dumpling I made.
All righty. You cook your
Okay.
dumplings, and I'll make more of my dumplings, and then we'll sit
All
down
right.
and eat.
Put that into.
Now, Jeremy, do you always boil your dumplings, or have you ever fried them?
We do pasta style as well. My kids they like the pasta, the the way you can use a frying pan.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Just the different taste. One
Hey.
is crispier, and the other one is just just
How long do you have to cook them if you pan fry them?
yeah, pan fry is hot thicker, right? So that's what we got.
How long do you usually have to cook them to pan fry them? And how do you know if they're done when you're pan frying?
You can hear it when you pan fry it. Basically, you add some water inside in the pan. You basically halfway kind of cover the dumplings with water and some oil, and then when the water is all evaporated, you know that it's almost done. And then you'll hear it, and you'll see that the dumpling wrapper become crispy and turn brown, and you turn down the fire and flip it so that the other side can be cooked as well. And then when the other side is crispy, you can take the dumpling out, and that will be the time that you stop.
Cool. So the other trick I know is like when you get down to the last 5 wrappers, you look at and see how much meat you have, and you divide it by 5. And there's been times where I had way too much meat and I ran out of wrappers, and I don't want to open another container of wrappers. So what I did was I just took the meat and I made it into a meatball, and I put it in a pan and I just cooked it. So that's a little saving grace, so you don't have wasted meat or filling. So Chinese people are very frugal. We don't like to have anything go to waste. So as Dad would say, if it moves, it's edible. And my son, Benjamin, he's so funny. He enlightened me. He said, Mom, I'll eat anything as long as it's dead. And I was like, really? And he goes, yeah, I'll give anything a try as long as it's dead. Not into eating live food. I think one time I saw, did you see that cooking show? The guy was eating squid or something that was live, and it was crawling down his throat, he said. And
That's
Benjamin
more like a Japanese or Korean stuff.
Yeah,
that's what that sounds like.
Yeah, that's the seafood, the raw seafood, the way that they eat that is more like Japanese.
Now, I will say on a trip to China, one of the things that was a delicacy in the food stall market areas and several parts that we went were scorpions on a stick. I did not try those.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've never tried as well.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan, but it was interesting to look at.
Was it with a shell and everything, like deep fried?
It's everything inside. They basically put the scorpion on a stick and it's deep fried.
What did they do with the poison that killed, like really?
It's just when you deep fry it, it will become safe. The poison is a type of protein. It's when you deep fry it with high temperature, and it should be fine. And usually when you eat those poison, it's also safe, right? So think about when people get bite by snakes, and they can just suck out the venom out, and it usually won't hurt them because those poison they only react with your blood, not what's in your in your mouth or in your stomach.
Stomach acid will kill anything, right?
Yeah, it's very strong acid. So.
Wow. Yeah, kind of sad. Like normally the restaurants are having big Chinese New Year's dinners, but I don't think anybody's doing that this year.
Yeah, they're doing it at home, right?
Yeah, and last year, Kat, we went to the Canton House.
Right.
Remember? Yeah.
It showed up in my memories on Facebook maybe 2 days ago.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Marta got us tickets and everything. It was like one of the nicest dinners I'd ever had that year.
The Gunner House that, the last year, that's the one that was the other group, right? That was the Asian American group.
NACA, yeah,
The NACA,
National Association.
Yeah, very interesting. Their president actually is a friend of me. I didn't realize that she's the president.
Wow.
Yeah, Lonnie.
No, it's Christina Liao.
Oh, okay.
Is another lady, and we're in the same running, kind of like we have a running club, and we're in the same club. And later on, later on I saw the party, the photo. I said, hey, really? you're the president. I missed that party.
You missed it. I know, but at that time we didn't know that much about COVID at all.
Yeah, that time was like I got a little bit coughing. I think that day Emma got a little bit as well. So I'm a little bit concerned to go there.
Yes.
I don't know what that is. My coughing is about, so I tried to avoid the crowd.
It was like a who's who of DeKalb and Fulton County. Like one of my neighbors, he lives in the area, and he ran for Tucker City Council. He was there, and so I see him at the club when we eat dinner and stuff, but I'd never seen him outside of that. And he owns a jewelry store, Bill Rosenfeld. And I was like, hey, Bill, and he's looking at me, and I can kind of see maybe like Chinese people look very similar. And I was like, it's Charlene, from Smoke Rise and from the jewelry store. And he goes, oh yeah. And so he was really funny. He looks like he could be the brother of my pediatrician for my kids. And my pediatrician's name is Rosenberg. And I was talking to Bill, and I was like, happy Hanukkah, because his name is Rosenfeld. And he goes, it's so funny. Everybody thinks I'm Jewish, but I'm not.
Oh, funny.
You look kind of Jewish. And he goes, yeah. But he came from Germany. And I said, you have to meet my pediatrician one day. His name is Raymond Rosenberg. You guys look like you could be brothers. Like literally they had the same physique, the same beard, the same hairstyle. It was really quite funny. So I've made enough for Aaron and I for dinner. So I'm gonna boil these.
All right.
Turn this. So yeah, you know what? Did you find, Kat, that when Jack left for school, you were cooking way too much food? Like you're so used to cooking for Jack and your husband, and then when your child goes away who eats a lot, you're like, oh wow, I fixed way too much food.
That is true. That happened the first time we went away. This time though, we were prepared. And so many nights I'll just have like a yogurt at night, which that would not satisfy Jack. So
Right.
it's been nice. But I love this because clearly you're making, just the right amount of dumplings. And Jeremy, I think you must be still cooking for the whole family.
Yes.
Is everyone going to be eating afterwards? So
they will eat. I'll show you the finished product, and I'm making the second batch. I'm making 2 batches. So now I'm making the wrapper. That's the hard part again.
now, how old are your kids now?
They are, one is turning 14. The other one just turned 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeremy's son is so cute and adorable. He's quite the handsome young man. So we met him at the pickleball clinic.
That's my son.
Yeah.
The big boy right now. Next year he will be taller than me. That will make me feel a little bit sad.
I know, that is sad.
Yeah. No, Kat, your son is pretty tall, right?
We've been told he's tall for being Chinese, and he's a lot taller than I am, but he's not. He's like average.
6 or something?
No, he's 5'9".
5'9". Okay, he's playing soccer or football, right?
He's the kicker, so he's playing football.
He's a kicker. Okay. Yeah, kicker don't need to be tall and strong. He just need to be really consistent.
Correct. He's got a big old leg on that body.
Well, of all the football positions to play, I think kicker is probably the safest. Because they're not necessarily tackling him on every play.
I thought so, but he's playing for a new team now, and I saw that he had ordered different sets of pads. So he ordered, I don't know if they're necessarily called thigh pads, but I'm going to call them thigh pads. I mean, normally he has knee pads, but these are higher up, obviously, at the thigh area. And I wondered about that. And then sure enough, he said, oh yeah, coach is putting me through tackle drills. He has tackled twice. And technically that's what the kicker, the kicker's that last line of defense on kickoffs. But yeah, I was actually surprised we were going through tackle drills because you're correct. I would prefer not, but it is what it is.
So did you see the steam come from my hand? That's my dumplings.
Ta-da!
Oh wow.
So this
like a dipping sauce or something too?
Yeah, I'll make that a little bit later on. So this one I'll let it dry up a bit. Pretty good.
Yay!
They do. They look great.
Awesome.
Yours looks great, Charlene. We are all really hungry on this side.
I know. Well, go get your yogurt.
I know, exactly.
Yeah, we're gonna eat together. We're gonna turn off the recording and eat together and just socialize too. So, Bo Chow, what are you having for dinner?
Hot pot.
Oh, good.
It's easier. Yeah, it's easier to make. Do you want to have a look? Let me
Yeah.
see.
Show us.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Very spicy hot pot.
Yum.
You can basically boil everything inside.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So are you from North or is I know Emma is
North.
from Sichuan, right?
Yeah. I'm like very spicy hot pot. I'm from North, from Hebei.
Oh, Hebei.
Close to Beijing.
You guys don't need much kind of spicy food. So you'll need some practice.
Yeah. I'm increasing my.
Hello, Emma. Good to see you.
Yeah, I
I don't know,
eat hot pot
Jeremy. You
today.
say
I feel
that.
stomachache.
Yeah.
But,
Emma eat too many hot pots recently. Like yesterday, one hot pot, and today also like lunch, eat hot pot for lunch. So it's too much hot pot. She
I can't eat anything now. I feel stomachache.
yeah, her stomach is complaining.
Oh no. Well, you know what? Han and Emma, we're very lucky that we married, or we're going to marry. I think Bo Chow and Emma probably get engaged sometime in the future, huh, Emma?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Have you already proposed or what?
I know, duh.
Haven't, but soon. Yeah.
Keep it a surprise, all right? Don't tell us.
Yeah.
Well, marrying someone who can actually cook is such an asset. Because I have girlfriends.
Yeah, I can cook. I can cook pretty
so
well, if you ask
that
Emma.
is a very good selling point for a husband. So yay.
Yeah, you can ask Emma. I'm a very good cooker.
What's also good. He actually started to cooking when he was just in primary school, so elementary school.
Wow.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
Yay. Well, when the boys were little, they had an older sister, so she had one of those kitchens, the Little Tykes kitchen, and so they would play in the kitchen with her, and then they saw Erin cooking. So my boys are actually better cooks than Abigail because they're food motivated. They love to eat, and so and I told him, I said it's good because when you're dating, the fact that you can cook is an awesome thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.